Hey everyone. Wait, I need you to stop everything and look at me right now. There's something happening in your life at this exact moment that you never thought would actually happen. Something you stopped believing in. Something you convinced yourself wasn't meant for you. Something you grieved as impossible. And it's here, right now, happening. Real. Welcome back. It's Anna. And wow, you never thought this day would come. Not because you didn't want it, but because you stopped letting yourself hope for it. You built walls around that dream. You told yourself it was okay that it wouldn't happen. You made peace with its absence, but some part of you never stopped wanting it. Let me tell you what's making me emotional as I tune into this. You may notice there's something in your current reality that feels almost surreal, like you're waiting to wake up, like you keep checking to make sure it's real, like you're afraid to fully celebrate it because what if it disappears? Some people experience this as a kind of disbelief. They're living something they wanted so badly, but they can't quite let themselves sink into it. They keep one foot in the old reality where this wasn't possible, just in case they need to retreat back there. It can feel like you're going through your day and suddenly you remember, oh, this is actually happening. This thing I stopped believing in, this dream I buried, this hope I released. It's here. Let's pause for a moment because this feels so important. I need you to really feel this. This reflection invites you to consider is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than what if the thing you never thought would happen is already happening? What if you're so busy protecting yourself from disappointment that you're missing the arrival of what you wanted? You may notice you've been afraid to name it out loud, afraid to acknowledge that yes, this is the thing. This is what I wanted. This is what I stopped believing I could have. Because naming it makes it real. And if it's real, then losing it would hurt more than never having it at all. But what if that fear is keeping you from fully receiving what's already here? In some situations, we're so conditioned to lack that we don't know how to recognize abundance when it arrives. We're so used to almost that we don't trust, actually. We're so familiar with waiting that we don't know how to inhabit having. Hold on. Let me slow down because I'm getting chills talking about this. There's a quality in your current experience that carries this sense of arrival, not future arrival, but present presence. Like something you've been moving toward for so long has finally caught up with you. It's possible you've been working toward this for years. Maybe you didn't even realize you were working toward it. Maybe you were just surviving, just getting through, just doing the next right thing. But all of that was actually leading here to this moment, to this reality, to this thing you never thought would come. Some people experience this as looking at their life right now and barely recognizing it. The contrast between where you were and where you are is so stark that it doesn't feel possible, doesn't feel earned, doesn't feel like something that happens to people like you. But it is happening to you right now. You may notice you keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, for the catch to reveal itself, for this to turn out to be not quite what you thought. Because good things don't just happen. Not to you, not without strings attached, except sometimes they do. Sometimes the thing you wanted just arrives without conditions, without complications, without requiring you to sacrifice something else to have it. This reflection invites you to consider, what if you're allowed to have this? What if you don't need to keep questioning whether you deserve it? Let me talk about what might be present in your experience around this shift. It's possible there's a specific area of your life that has transformed in a way you never thought possible. Maybe it's love showing up after you stopped looking. Maybe it's financial stability after years of struggle. Maybe it's peace in your body after years of pain. Maybe it's recognition after years of being overlooked. Whatever it is, you gave up on it. Not because you stopped wanting it, but because continuing to want it was too painful. Because hope kept breaking your heart. So you released it. You made peace with not having it. You built a life that didn't include it, and now it's here anyway. Some people experience this as grief mixed with joy. Grief for all the years you didn't have it. Grief for the version of you who suffered in its absence. Grief for how long you had to wait. And joy. Pure is less than #0. 5# is greater than overwhelming. Almost unbearable joy that it finally happened. It can feel like you're sitting alone somewhere, maybe in your car or your bedroom or a quiet corner, and suddenly the reality hits you. This is real. This actually happened. I'm actually living this. And the tears come, not sad tears, release tears, relief tears. I can't believe this is my life tears. You may notice you're currently experiencing moments of profound gratitude, not performative gratitude, but the kind that rises up from your chest and makes you want to thank something, someone, the universe, yourself, whatever forces conspired to bring you here. That gratitude, that's evidence that you're starting to let it in, starting to trust that this is yours, starting to believe you get to keep it. This reflection invites you to consider, are you allowing yourself to fully feel the magnitude of what's happening? There's something I keep sensing about worthiness in your current state. It's possible you're struggling right now with believing you deserve this. You're looking at this gift in your life and thinking, why me? Not in a grateful way, but in a questioning way. Like you're waiting for someone to realize they made a mistake. Like you're convinced you somehow tricked your way into something meant for someone else. But what if it's not a mistake? What if this is exactly yours? What if you didn't trick your way here, but arrived here through every choice you made? Every hardship you survived, every moment you chose to keep going when giving up would have been easier. Some people experience this as an adjustment period. They have what they wanted, but they don't quite know how to be the person who has it. They're still operating from lack, still making decisions from scarcity, still bracing for loss. You may notice you're currently in that adjustment. You're living in the new reality, but your nervous system is still calibrated to the old one. You're experiencing abundance, but your body still expects deprivation. And that disconnect, that's normal. That's part of the process. You're not broken for not instantly adjusting to having what you always wanted. Let me slow down for a second because I want to talk about something tender. There's a moment many people experience when a long-held dream finally manifests. A moment where they think about their younger self, the one who wanted this so badly, the one who didn't know if they'd survive the waiting, the one who almost gave up. It's possible you're currently in that moment. You're looking back at who you were and you want to tell them. You want to go back and say, it happens. The thing you're hoping for, it actually happens. You make it. You get there. You survive long enough to see this day. And maybe you can't go back, but you can honor that younger version of you by letting yourself fully receive what they hoped for, by not diminishing it, by not questioning whether it's real or whether you deserve it. They hoped for this, and now you're living it. That's sacred. This reflection invites you to consider, what would it mean to receive this gift on behalf of every version of you who wanted it? You may notice you're currently afraid to talk about this with others, afraid of seeming like you're bragging, afraid of making people who don't have what you have feel bad, afraid of jinxing it by acknowledging it out loud. But keeping it secret is another way of not fully claiming it. another way of staying small, another way of protecting others from your joy at the cost of actually experiencing your joy. In some situations, we need to practice saying out loud, "This is happening to me," without apologizing for it, without minimizing it, without immediately following it with all the ways it could still go wrong. Just, "This is happening, and I'm allowing myself to be happy about it." There's something about your current reality that suggests this isn't the end, not an ending where everything is perfect and complete, but a beginning, a new chapter, a different kind of life than the one you were living before. It's possible this shift is opening up new possibilities you couldn't see before, new dreams you couldn't let yourself dream, new versions of yourself you couldn't imagine becoming. Because once one impossible thing becomes possible, everything else starts to feel less impossible too. Some people experience this as their entire sense of what's available expanding. They start thinking bigger, hoping braver, imagining more. Because if this could happen, what else could happen? You may notice you're currently feeling more courageous than you used to, more willing to take risks, more trusting of positive outcomes, because you're living proof to yourself that good things can actually happen, that dreams can actually manifest, that waiting isn't always waiting forever. That courage, that's the gift beyond the gift. That's what changes everything going forward. This reflection invites you to consider, what other dreams are you now willing to hope for? Let me talk about what this means for how you show up in the world now. It's possible you're currently carrying yourself differently. There's a lightness, a relief, a sense of finally being able to exhale because the thing you were holding your breath about, it happened. Some people experience this as other people noticing something different about them, commenting on their energy, asking what changed, picking up on the shift, even if they don't know what specifically shifted. It can feel like you're walking through the same spaces you've always walked through, but everything feels different because you're different, because you're no longer the person waiting for this. You're the person living this. You may notice you're more generous right now, more patient, more kind, not because you're trying to be, but because happiness creates space. Because when your own cup is full, you overflow naturally onto others. That overflow, that's abundance, real abundance, not just having more, but being more. There's something I need to say about celebrating this. It's possible you're currently downplaying what's happening, telling yourself it's not that big of a deal, that other people have it better, that you shouldn't make too much of this. But why not? Why not make a big deal of it? Why not fully celebrate this thing you never thought would come? Some people spend so long in deprivation that they forget how to celebrate abundance. They feel guilty for being happy. They worry about being too much. They minimize their joy to make others comfortable. But your joy doesn't diminish anyone else's potential for joy. Your happiness doesn't steal from anyone else's happiness quota. Your dream coming true doesn't mean someone else's can't. This reflection invites you to consider, what would it look like to fully celebrate what's happening without apologizing for it? You remain in complete control of your choices here. You can stay in disbelief. You can keep waiting for this to fall apart. You can protect yourself from fully inhabiting this reality by keeping one foot in the old story. Or you can let yourself land here. You can trust that this is real. You can claim this moment, this shift, this manifestation of what you wanted. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice that just reading this is bringing up emotion, maybe tears, maybe overwhelm, maybe a kind of relief you didn't know you were carrying tension around. Let yourself feel it, all of it. the disbelief and the joy, the grief and the gratitude, the fear and the celebration. Take what resonates from this, leave what doesn't. Trust your inner knowing about what's true for you. Before we close, I want to ask you something. What's the thing in your current life that you never thought would actually happen? What dream did you bury that's now surfacing? Drop it in the comments if you feel called to share. And here's another question. What would change if you let yourself fully believe that yes, this is real and you get to keep it? What would it feel like to stop bracing for loss and start settling into having? Wow is less than #0. 5# is greater than you never thought this day would come. But it did. It's here. You are living it right now. Not in some distant future, not in your imagination, in your actual present moment reality. And you survived long enough to see it. You held on long enough to receive it. You kept going even when you stopped believing it was possible. That matters. That's everything. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you're allowed to have this. Trust that this isn't a mistake or a fluke or something that will be taken away. Trust that you can let your guard down and actually enjoy what you've been given. You don't need to keep proving you deserve it. You just need to let yourself have it. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, the thing you never thought would happen, it's not coming. It's already here. Receive it.